So good evening. It's Sunday afternoon. This is Cranky from the Cranky Live Show. If you have never done so previously, please subscribe to my channel. And when I drop this video, please hit the like button and share the video. So I want to talk to you this evening about something that's come to my attention more recently relating to the JFF's perspective that many or maybe all Reggae Boyz YouTubers are toxic and very negative when it comes to the JFF. Now, is there some credence to that? I'm sure that it is in some way, shape, or form. But to paint everyone with that brush may not be fair. My understanding is that the statement was made that UNO, which is referred to general until YouTubers, are very, very negative. And that manifests itself even more recently concerning the Reggae Boyz coach, the selection of the youngster in the Reggae Boyz squad, and a number of comments that were made surrounding that by fans, YouTubers, and others. But I do think individuals in the media and YouTubers are now part of the media, regardless of how one may view YouTubers. They're part of the media. They have a view. They have a perspective, just like traditional media, and it should be respected. Do we go overboard sometime in our criticism? I'm sure we do, quite a bit. But do we also give praise? The praise is provided. And I want to substantiate by, I did a video a few days ago talking about whether or not fans were too critical of the JFF. And I will play that. Then I wanted to play that video to show that there's thought goes into, we have thoughts that goes into how we should engage with the JFF, how we should view the JFF, some historical things that have occurred that we view to be negative, positive that the JFF, positives surround the JFF, and just as important, suggestions about going forward, how we can improve the relationship between the JFF and stakeholders. So I'll play that video, but I don't think it's fair to say YouTubers are always negative. Some accountability has to be on the part of those who are in charge of the football. And we're going to call things out, which we don't agree with, and which may be deemed to be negative in a sense, are not working well. But I think we'll also give accolades when those accolades are deserved. As a lot of people would say, give the flowers to the JFF when they deserve their flowers. So I don't think it's all negative. I don't think it all should be painted with the same brush. I don't think traditional media does a better job than YouTubers, frankly, because I think YouTubers spend a lot of time and effort to cover the football. And I think YouTubers, sponsors, the business community, fans, and the JFF and the players all have the same focus and objective, which is we want a good product on the field. We want the product to do well. We want to support the product. And we are all in this together. The ultimate goal, obviously, is get to the World Cup. But there's a larger goal, which is the sustainability of our football program. And it's not just about getting to a World Cup, but it's for us to sustain excellence on a long-term basis for the football program, going forward. And we hope the JFF realizes this, and that if we are coming across as negative, they should assess whether or not what we're saying makes sense and then determine how they should view this versus just believing that we're negative. So I'll play the video and you guys can see how the discussion, it's a little bit long, probably about 30 plus minutes, but you can see the genesis of the conversation. You can see how the conversation evolved and where we end up. I want to do negative, we're doing negative. I start with negative first because I want to end positively. That's why I start with negative first. So don't take it personal. Financial management allegations. The JFF have faced criticism for alleged financial mismanagement, including delays in how they set up pay players. Remember before we get Adidas deal and Copa money, how things were tough and places they don't get paid in a long time. These issues have been out there. And they're baggage which keeps on raising their head periodically. Right? So that raised concerns about the transparency of the JFF. No, those were supposed to be monetary issues, people. Right? And supposedly the monetary issues are not being better managed. Because remember we had FIFA overseeing the whole financial situation it wasn't because our finances were that great, people. And it wasn't because we had debt. Because they weren't comfortable how the money was being spent. So JFF may complain about that, but it's a fact. Failure to qualify for major tournaments. Now, we had that with the previous World Cup since 98. We haven't qualified in over 26 years. But to be fair, we have gone through quite a bit of Copa and did well in Copa. Gold Cup. And then we've gone to the last Copa, right? And we've done well in the Nations League. So over the last year or so, things have improved on the field performance for the senior team. Now, I'm not talking about enough junior team, but that's part of the whole equation at some point, which is the under 14 won and everybody's happy. And if you question the under 14 people going to beat you, I'm going to touch upon that too. So let me progress to that. So the under 20 did horribly. The under 15 for females did horribly, even though we don't really watch junior football that much because of the quota thing. The senior team for both male and female have done really well, even though the women didn't make the Gold Cup because of the thing they had with the JFF, the first women Gold Cup in the region, which is a problem. Which, frankly, I said the women were just as to blame as the JFF for that. I think the JFF should have acted like adults and be the bigger people, and they didn't. And the females sometimes did things which I didn't appreciate or support, frankly. And I got a lot of beating for that, but as I don't know, I won't say it again, but it is what it is. Did I expect Grim to be better than he is via player selection? I wasn't a Grim fan. I didn't ask for Grim to be fired, by the way, but I wasn't a Grim fan. I think Grim didn't have a style of play. I think Grim's selection was awful. And Grim's change, you know what killed me with Grim? When I went to Texas and saw him made that change that we lost that game against Mexico, I know he was gone, so he wasn't professional when he did that. And he was there not dressed the appropriate way. Grim, I'm glad you're in Ireland. Stay there. I'm supportive of McLaren, by the way. Was he the best? Was whoever selected? No, I was selected a Spaniard, but I'm supportive of McLaren. So here's more negative. Poor relationship with fans and media. The JFF has struggled to maintain a positive relationship with both fans and the media. Communication is always not, maybe use euphemism here. Communication is not always good. I could just say awful or poor. Though it's improving. So we see much more press conferences. We see much more engagement. I'll talk about some of the positives. And so when you don't have good communication, there can be a lack of trust between the federation and stakeholders, inclusive the fan. And that's part of it. Right? And I'll go to some of the solutions I think we should do. I don't think we have enough support for women's football, and that's not the JFF. You know, JFF has improved there. That's also the fans. I'm going to talk a big talk, but not support the women's team as much as they should come now go again. Bless up Rockford. So the fans, them who like to beat, them need just as much beating. Because them now do fit them part to make things better. And then, you know, developing for the juniors and the domestic leagues, I mean, the women's league need to be better. The leagues just across Jamaica need to be better, period. Just need to be better, period. So those are what I deem to be the negatives per se when you relate to the JFF. Now let's go to the positives. Because there are some positives. Positives. World Cup qualification for the women's team. Second round for the women's team, even though they had issues. So here's another thing we have to say to your people, because I say, Cranky, that's not the JFF. No. Whatever is under your jurisdiction, negative or positive, you own it. So I don't want to hear, oh, well, we went to the World Cup despite the JFF. No. If you're going to beat them when things don't go well, then you got to give them credit when the credit is due. So we went to the Women's World Cup for the second time. We went to the second round of that World Cup. The JFF get them flowers. I know what the noise was. I know what the history is. Then get them flowers. Reggae Boyz getting the semi-final of Nations League, and to me could have won that Nations League. Played well against the US, even though we were a low block. Going to Copa, even though we didn't win any game, we went to Copa. We get money from them. The Adidas deals, the 876 engagement, even though I don't think we should have gone 876, but that's just me. We should have gone someplace else, but that's just me. The view of trying to reach out to the diaspora, there are things the JFF is doing to change and improve from a performance standpoint. I did talk about the under 20 being poor, so I'm not going back into the negatives. But the under 14 doing well in Caribbean is good. But let me say this to JFF and everybody else, because some of you guys and the fans are saying you guys are too critical. The Caribbean is no longer our benchmark. The Caribbean is no longer our benchmark, people. A country like Trinidad have gone to the dogs. No medal at Olympics. Football has gone to I don't know what. 5 players who play in the top 30 leagues in the world. Trinidad just gone south. If you're an example of a country that fell off a cliff and was doing well historically, given the small population was Trinidad, they're now opposite. So Jamaica is not the worst. I know I'm going to be being for my friend about this, but to use an example, but it's true. Brandon said another positive was implementing child protection protocols, also applying FIFA funds for. Yes, JFF are doing things. I mentioned some of the positives. So the World Cup qualifications and the performance of the team, there are a number of youth team initiatives that have been undertaken to create this elite. They went through the FIFA youth development ecosystem process. I saw the Trinidad document, to be honest, and there are a lot there that Trinidad needs to do. I'm sure Jamaica is in the same place as Trinidad relating to that. My understanding from the JFF, talking in general, is they're working on some deficiencies that were noted and going to take a while to effect them. Now, here's my thing, JFF. I was going to talk about positives. We're going to talk about that. Because you can't go do things in a vacuum and behind closed doors. People need to know. So youth development, there's a greater emphasis on youth development. Now, we have to put a program together, a strategy together, about how we do that, right? You saw with the under 15s, for example, under 17s, Freddie Butler is now the coach, on a more long-term basis, has players from Jamaica and the US involved in this. That's a good start. Bringing ex-players in to be part of the process, right? We're getting more international friendlies across all different age groups. So we're playing more football and get more experience. And as sure as part of the FIFA initiative, they're learning also that, and I saw that for Trinidad, if you look at what the top 20 teams or the 21 to 50 teams play, the number of games they play for the youth teams, it's materially different from what we do in the Caribbean. Materially different, right? They practice like 3-4 times a week for a certain number of hours. They play a number of games each week. We don't do that. We play some schoolboy football for a certain period of time, and then the football is done. That has to be changed, and JFF has to change the whole construct. Question, will they have enough money to do it the right way, or will they have to make some sacrifices? It doesn't matter. The JFF also has been working on thinking through strengthening ties with diaspora, but we don't want them to just strengthen ties. We want to be involved in the process. We don't want you just come for the money, JFF, but that's a good thing to strengthen ties with diaspora across the US, Canada, and the UK mainly, right? Part of it is recruiting players, but it's also not trying to reach out to other organizations to bring together that engagement dialogue. Infrastructure. I know we have a center in Jamaica, a center of excellence. I also saw Bob Grains in one of our address to the Parliament talk about some improvement to be made to the National Stadium. My hope is that we can generate resources to really enhance the stadium, refurbish the stadium, and also make sure the fields that players playing on are better. And I know the JFF is trying to work through some of those things, but money is always a challenge. The JFF has to secure sponsorship. They have to secure more sponsorship deals. FIFA deal is good, but whether it's local or international, they have to spend more time on the road trying to generate sponsorship. Now, what do I view to be some of the proposed solutions? So this is negative and positive, people. And then you can't come up with negative and positive when you have a direction of travel you're going to go for going forward. Would I consider being what? President of the United States? Of course, but I wasn't born here. So I can't be president. No, I'm a YouTuber, Eco Reads. As the JFF tell me, I'm a critic. That they call me. Some of them anyway. But I do think, so I'm going to give you some suggestion, and I would like to be involved in one of these. So here's my suggestion, people. So addressing the conflict between the fans and the Jamaica Football Federation requires a multifaceted approach. It's not one-dimensional. You can't just say we do one or two things. It's going to be multifaceted. And here's some proposed solutions, JFF, and to people in the chat and others who are interested in this. They have to implement a system of regular communication, a more formalized system, and something informal of regular communication with fans, including updates on decisions, financial transparency, and strategic plans. Don't just come tell me when you have tournament and you have coach, you want to come talk to me. I don't care if other administration do it or not. That's what they do. That's not what we're doing. We're moving in we're in the 21st century. We are futuristic. We are visionaries. That's how we want to operate. So you may say, you know what? On a monthly basis, we're going to meet with the fans. It's going to be broadcast, or on a quarterly basis. Whatever frequency you want to use, make it frequent enough, or bi-monthly, every 2 months. We're going to have updates on decision we're making. We're going to talk to you about the finances. We're going to talk about a strategic plan. And by the way, when I look at the I'm going to have a strategic plan here for one country next week's show to talk through their strategic plan, because I think this is important. But talk to us about what you're doing. Get us involved in it. Let us be informed. We ain't running your program, JFF, but we want to be involved. We are fans. We keep this thing alive. And YouTube keeps you alive more than any other thing, because traditional media go about their business. We're talking about you 24/7. But we're not just YouTubers. We're fans also. So keep the fans informed. Come up with some frequency of communication with the fan base, with all the stakeholders, not just fan base, with stakeholders, right? And me are beating upon this. When we have documents like the result of the FIFA thing, walk us through it. We know it's not great. You're going to tell us it's not great. We know it's not great. But you know what? You can tell us what you're doing to correct these things and how we can help. We'd love to do that. You should also establish a regular fan forum where your supporters can voice their concern directly to the JFF officials, which could help to get communication. So whether you have a way in terms of, you know what, Tone Hawk type construct, I could do it via virtual medium with some controls around it. Like I said, they might have, women for Kamala Harris with 40,000 people. We don't have no 40,000 fans, but at least it's a structured way of operating and engaging where we can communicate with your JFF. We can express positives and things we think you need to improve on. Right? So we create fan forums. We're not saying this is not done by the administration. We don't care about what other people do. It's what we want to do. Former players and coaches should be part of the whole process about how you engage them in decision making, and they can bring different perspective to you. People are, people at the coolies of the world, all over the world, learning from different people. Bring them in, bring them ideas in, engage with them, have a conversation. Right? We all don't know everything about everything. So I know we have people like Freddie Butler involved, and we have Bibi Gardner involved, and more of that should be part of the whole equation. Especially those players we know are doing well post-playing, or maybe coaches are involved in the sport. Right? Bring them into the conversation. Fan representation. So I'm interested in that one, yeah. Introduce a fan representation or advisory board that works closely with the JFF. This could ensure that the fans' voices are heard in key decisions, particularly those that affect team performance. So think about it this way. So if we have all these forums and we get all this intelligence from the fans and they have some great ideas, how we relate to the JFF? Unless you have one-on-one contact with people, you can't get it to them. If we have an advisory board, we meet every 3 months, every 4 months. We collate information as a fan. We go through each advisory board. We sit down and talk to the JFF and have real conversations. That would help in the process. Here's some of the things that JFF may not like, but some have to say JFF. The JFF should also prioritize hiring qualified professionals for key management roles. This includes, not calling on anybody, but it's technical directors or coaches or administrative staff who have proven track record. People. You can't have the same people do the same job for years and years and years, and you're not doing real evaluation and making sure they're producing. That cannot be the case. We have some people not in position for donkey years, and we're not seeing a product from them. That needs to change. Get people with the right skills. I'm not saying get cranky people. So I'm not saying, well, cranky want a job. Me don't want a job. I'm retired. Right? Can't come here and run my mouth and talk to no. I'm not looking for no job. Would I do an advisory role? Yes, but I'm not looking for a job. But let me say this. For any company I know, any organization I know, the quality of the people enables the success of that organization in a lot of instances. Even people who have the best product, they have quality people who can say, you know what? Let's decipher this product. Let's scrutinize this product. Let's challenge this product and get the product to something which people can buy. You need quality, intellectual capital to inform decision-making, to help you achieve your goals. People do the same thing year after year and have no product. Maybe they're limited in what they can do. So people take this personal sometimes and say they question the intellect. No, we're saying, are you sure you have the best people in each of those seats doing the right job? I'm gonna give you an example, people. I'm gonna digress here a little bit. And this is not about the JFF. It wasn't the JFF fault. But yesterday, so I should interrupt what I'm going through now, but I'll interrupt it. Yesterday, I was on the conference call that was being held for the under 14. Was it yesterday or the day before? One of them did it. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And I know the JFF couldn't see this, but there was someone on the call who was half naked people. He was in one. So they had all the people who called into it. I didn't call into it. I was just watching it. Called into it, and he had a computer in his chest, and he was half naked. And that wasn't the JFF's fault, because the JFF couldn't see him there. But that person who works for one of the major newspapers, that was inappropriate and unprofessional. That's something I call you. Come and watch it. It's up on YouTube right now. You're there with your shirt off, with a computer on your chest, and you're in a conference call, for Christ's sake, for a professional organization. Now, that is not reflective of the JFF, but that was a newspaper person, and you know we like to complain and criticize, who was doing this, which I thought was so unprofessional, it's ridiculous. Seriously. I was shocked to see that. Right? I know what the person was spoken to at some point, but those things are not acceptable. You can go on YouTube and see it if you think I'm taking a line. Not acceptable. But that's not JFF, but I just want to digress and touch upon that before I forget. Clear long-term vision. The Federation should articulate a clear long-term vision for football, for Jamaica football, including the results of the FIFA review, which should come out, the vision for them, the philosophy for the football, the strategic goals, and this should be communicated to us, the fans, so we can see, you know what? They have plans, and then they can come back periodically to tell how the plans are progressing and how we can help. That needs to be done. Youth development and local talent, which is what we just sort of mentioned, which is more around what they came to, what FIFA informed them about, the whole FIFA youth development ecosystem thing, which is very impressive that FIFA undertook, because FIFA want more competition in their football now. FIFA is saying we can't have the same European teams and some South American teams winning every year. Where's Africa? Where's CONCACAF? Where's Oceania? Where's Asia? That cannot be okay. But you can't get there to compete unless you have the right people in the right seat directing the football. Right? Financial management accountability. The JFF should be transparent about how funds are being used, particularly those received from sponsors, FIFA, and other sources. I know audits are done, but you know what? We're not getting true audit results. Right? We need public disclosures, and we need to get more information. And you can sit down with the advisory board and can go to I would love to go to the audits in detail, understand what they audit, how they audit, how they get comfortable with the conclusion they reach. I would love to have that conversation with their auditors. Love to have it, especially since I have some expertise in that discipline. Revenue generation. They have to develop sustainable revenue streams, such as in the merchandise and ticket sales and partnership, which they're doing by hiring 876, by getting FIFA, by getting sponsorship from Adidas, but they got to be much more. As I said, I watched the US, reading about the US the other day and what the US was doing, working with Deloitte and Touche, which is a top 4 accounting firm, issuing a bond for $200 million to build some ridiculous facility out in Atlanta. How are we going to compete with that? We have to have our intellectual capital focus on this, because when you have 3 million people or 5 million people in the diaspora and you have limited resources and you deal with a behemoth like the US, you have to bring all the skills you have together to help you compete. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. You say you're going to play it. What are you saying? Oh, you know what? Michael, I forgot about that. Too late now. I forgot about that. Football says, Cranky, we're getting ready to compete. Beating the JF at this point is no good. Football Guru. You know, Football Guru. You should go watch a program from the inception and stop saying I beat the JFF. Can nobody not beat the JFF Football Guru? You come in here with a certain mindset. You don't listen. You come with your negativity. We don't know negativity to the guru. No one is beating the JFF. We're giving the JFF suggestion to improve its product so we can support them. That's what I've been talking about. Now, you come in here saying I'm beating the JFF, you're off key, because that's what you come with every day. Okay? So go back to where you come from. Don't get me upset. Nobody now beat the JFF. We're giving suggestions here. Performance and results. The JFF should manage fans' expectation by being realistic about the team's capabilities and challenges. This includes areas where we need to improve and setting achievable goals. So if you tell me we can win World Cup, I mean, there's some JFF persons and then want to get to the 3rd and 4th round where it's not possible. You have to manage fans' expectations sometimes. I know I don't think pay early for hope, but I'm trying to give some suggestions which they may not listen to. I don't know why football groups we are criticize JFF when we hear a positive thing with it. I don't understand people, you know. You jump in at the chat, you don't listen to nothing, just come in here with the negativity. Because that's what you expect all the time. Ika Rick says, are you confident in McLaren's ability to take us to the World Cup? Yes, one word. I'm not going to pontificate. Yes, I'm confident that he can. But he needs to recruit, because he can't do it with the current team we have. I don't think this current team, as currently comprised, will get us there as we expect. I think we need some help. And that's why he needs to come and get those players on board. And the JFF and the Ministry of Sports and PICA need to help him do so. He can't do it by himself. There needs to be an expeditious line when somebody come in, some VIP or some special circumstances, let me go through the process. Consistent team selection. I'm going through my list, people. They have to manage the coaching situation better. We have too much changes. I don't know why change makes some time. And make sure that we have a long-term construct around coaching for the junior team and the senior teams. Right? Obviously, teams turn over coaches, but Southgate was at England coach for 8 years. Right? He wasn't there for 2 minutes. Obviously, he did well in those tournaments, but we have to have more consistency in our coaching, especially at more junior level. So Guru objectives to defend BLE and JFF is not open to anything else. Yeah, I mean, no Claudine. No Claudine. Community initiative. Launching community-based football program initiative could help build a strong connection between JFF and the grassroots. JFF, they go to the community. Them lazy people don't have their own. So you may got beaten for this, but we don't really care. And for the same people that run the parish association for year after year after year, we need some new blood to run some of them places there. You need new blood with new ideas, new vigor. That's why they replace Biden, because him get old. We have people in JFF who have long-term like Biden. I run them things for 20, 30 years. No new ideas, no inventiveness. JFF, weed out some of them. I know they support you, but weed them out. You need new blood, new ideas, new energy to do this. And we support you if you do that. And then you can get involved with the community. We have to build a community-based organization to help move this along. Crisis management. So you think there was fan education and engagement, crisis management. The JFF should have a crisis management plan in place to address issues as they arise, including respond to fans' concern in a timely, respectful manner, I should say, which don't happen all the time. Acknowledging past mistakes and outlining steps taken to address them can help rebuild trust with the fan base. You have to sometimes be humble and eat humble pie if you want good, right? So I think if they implement those solutions, it go a long way to building trust, not only with the fan base, but the business community, with the sole objective of, look, people, we can't always fight people. Here's my philosophy on that. I know some people say, boy, you're crying, you go kiss up to the JFF. I saw the man stay, you know. I don't think they want to know. I can't say that. I don't really care if I say that. My goal is always to have harmony, to have compromise, to work as a collective, to achieve a common goal. We're not just trying to get to the World Cup. We're trying to have a sustainable football program, which we can be part of on a continual basis, and one which will allow us to compete at every age group across the globe. That's what we focus on. For this to occur, all the stakeholders have to be on the same page. All the stakeholders have to respect each other. All the stakeholders have to work as a collective, not as disparate parts to this whole equation. So whether it's sponsors, whether it's the marketing team that's engaged externally, whether it's the JFF, whether it's the players, whether it's the fan base, all of us who are stakeholders, I'm not sure if I'm missing any group, need to work as a group to do so. I think the JFF has been doing a better job, even though I heard some people say they're not coming on YouTube for a little while, which they should change their mind, because I think it's always good no matter how much beating you get. I think it's a good thing when the administration is reaching out to the public via social media and other means to engage, right? I'll also say another thing, which may be a beating, but JFF, we laud you for coming out and talking about the under-14 success. But we're also going to criticize you when you don't come out and acknowledge what happened to the under-20 and the girls team and explain what you think transpired. Even if you come out and say, look, this was horrible. This happened. Here are some of the contributing factors. We're doing a more thorough assessment of what transpired. We're going to come back to you at a certain date, defined date when it's done, to talk you through what we think happened and how we're going to fix it. That's proactive. You can't be proactive and happy and want to call a press conference when things are great, but when it's not, you're not ready to take the pressure and what you call beating. No, do it both ways. Then you get more respect, right? It's not beating the JFF. They're saying how we should operate. So my hope is that the fan base, I hope we can have a clean slate. At some point, we're going to be on the same page, people. Okay, if you have the fan always beating the JFF, and JFF not happy with the fans say we're going to shut up, then it's not going to work really well. we need the JFF to be engaged, and we need to engage the JFF in a professional way, in a good way. Doesn't mean they can't be criticized, because everybody get criticized. Jeremiah said we need template. Jeremiah, you want a whole new team. I know it's going to work. Does the JFF have a constitution of election? So which old boy is he talking in? Maybe that's pressure on Claudine. I should stay out of that. I know what Claudine is talking about. You may have a constitution in a presser. You may have all this in a, but if I the same people that circulate, we don't know how much we don't know how that work. Presser, we don't know that work. Same people that go in that circle, we don't know that work. The JFF needs new blood. And JFF has to, here's the JFF. JFF needs to have an oversight body helping them with the context of this, which is assessing who assess the JFF organization to make sure they're doing things the right way. Because FIFA is not the person to do it. And then say JFF, be self-critical. Which company you know, or which, okay, this is a football team, people. We have a football team, Jamaica Football Team. I don't know if there's any window we call the same players every single window. Yes, there's some players there who we know are great. They do really well. They come. But we turn over some players who don't believe are performing at the right level. That's the same way for companies. So that should be the same way for football organizations. Not everybody in every position is going to do an excellent job. And you're always trying to improve the position.